Hi, and welcome back to Palliative Care. This is the last in the series of videos for palliative care. So we'll get going. Now, this section is going to concentrate on advanced care planning and the cultural safety aspects of palliative care, both of which are really important. So, what we will do is we will first of all have a look at advanced care planning. If I can get it to go. Right, advanced career planning. Now, there is an advanced care plan, advanced directives, and enduring power of attorney, and they're all different. So you just need to be aware of that fact. And we'll have a look at an advanced care plan first. It's an individual record of specific wishes, beliefs, values, and preferences for care to ensure these are respected and observed when the individual is no longer able to speak or advocate for themselves. Now, an advanced care plan, we will go into what it is a little bit more. It is it's not a legal document, whereas an advance directive is. And it is more about what people will term as the fluffy stuff around the dying process. And what it does is it says what the person wants, how they want to die, um, specific things like who they want there. More importantly, it excludes people from being there if that person doesn't want them there. It also says things like, it can say things like what the person wants after they die, funeral arrangements, bits and pieces like that. Do they want music playing when they're dying? What type of music do they want? Where do they want to be? All that sort of thing. It's the nice, fluffy stuff around the dying process. It's also a continuing conversation because anyone can do an advanced care plan at any time. You don't have to be dying to do an advanced care plan. All eh, you can do one, you know, in your 20s if you want to. It is very easy to change. It's known as a continuing conversation plan. So if you decide on one day that you want, say, when you're dying, you want Bob Marley music playing, and then, you know, a month later you decide, no, actually, I'd quite like Jimi Hendrix. So you can change it at any time. And it's not a legal process. You don't have to get lawyers and stuff involved. Whereas an advance directive states the person's informed choice about preferences for medical care should they become incapacitated. And an advance directive is also linked to the Code of Rights. So, an advance directive is a legal document. It needs to be signed by a doctor, and it's usually done so that um, if someone is in the dying or has been diagnosed as terminal and there's no way that they're going to live, then they can put in things like, if you get an infection, don't give antibiotics, or do not resuscitate, and bits and pieces like that. And an enduring power of attorney. Now, there's two types. There's an enduring power of attorney for health and an enduring power of attorney for wealth. So one is the um, the health one is if the person becomes incapacitated, then this person can have a say over what happens to their health, like. Uh, do they get antibiotics? What type of things happen if there isn't, like, they can say things like that if there's no advance directive. um, and they can give they can give advice on what should be done and or what they think should be done for the person should they no longer be able to speak for themselves. And then you've got one over the property. So this is the person or their wealth. This is a person that will be able to do things like pay bills and has access to bank accounts and things like that. um, Sometimes these are two different people. I know for my parents, I'm enduring power of attorney over their health. So if something happens to them, I get to say what happens in the health aspect. And my brother is enduring power of attorney over their wealth. So he has a say in what happens um, to bills and all that sort of thing. So there we go. There's an overview of um, what happens in that aspect. So this exercise here you cannot do. Okay, so don't worry about it. It's about filling out an advanced care plan. There is a copy of the advanced care plan on Moodle if you'd like to have a look at it. Just open it up and have a look and see what's inside it. It's really interesting. You may want to print it off and actually fill it out for yourself. There's also a website, um, and I will endeavour to try and put the link up for that website for you so you can go in and have a look and see what's also out there in advanced care planning. So let's have a look at the cultural perspective in palliative care. So there is a short video. The link for this is up. And it's called Engaging Culture. Have a look at it and just see what you think about it. Ponder over the differences between what is culturally safe and what isn't culturally safe. It's a really interesting video, and yeah, just to have a look at it. It is a bit long, it's 6 minutes 50 long. So, yeah, but it's really interesting. Right. So, what I would like you to do is this activity, cultural concepts of palliative care. So, reflect on the following questions. What does palliative care and end of life care mean to you? And if you are from a different cultural group, your country of origin. So, what does palliative care and end of life care for you mean for you in your culture? What have you learned or observed about other cultural perspectives around death and dying? So, there is a little exercise that I would like you to do around this, okay? Have these challenged your perspective around death and dying? How do you feel about caring for the dying? You need to start thinking about these things. Different people will have different ideas on how they feel about caring for the dying. Some people just can't do it because dying is a very sacred thing, and it's for family only and bits and pieces like that. But have you been challenged on your perspective of death around death and dying since doing the palliative care work? So, respecting others' cultural beliefs. So, you need to pay careful attention to the patient's values, goals, and priorities, as well as their cultural and spiritual perspectives. So, this is about, again, looking after the whole person and respecting what they want. And if your beliefs are different, not pushing them onto that person. Okay. So there are cultures out there that would never have a dying person put into, say, a residential care setting, that they would look after them at home. But you cannot push your values and your beliefs onto the other person. Okay, and you need to reflect on how this may be achieved in the palliative care setting. So, how would you achieve this in the palliative care setting? Now, there are different cultural beliefs about suffering. So, suffering can encompass physical and psychological symptoms, spiritual concerns, and empathetic suffering with others. Pain and suffering are to varying extent subjective experiences, which means they are what the person says they are, influenced by a person's social and religious cultures. Now, there are some cultures out there that believe that a person suffering pain during the dying process will go to a better place. And you can't push that onto other people, because in other cultures, pain is just not what should happen. Some patients may, in fact, find some elements of suffering to be a positive experience, especially as they search for meaning and closure towards the end of their life. Okay, so you need to be aware that suffering is sometimes what people want towards the end of their life, and sometimes it isn't. Right. Um, so here we go, customs and religious protocol. This resource contains information about customs and religious protocol associated with death and dying of different cultures. Working in your groups, select one that you are familiar with and compare and contrast those to your that you are unfamiliar with, and compare and contrast those to your own. So if you go, I've put the link up for this website. If you go into this website, there are a lot of different different cultural beliefs out there. So we'll have a click on it and I'll see if I can get it to go. It's called a memory tree. And if you have a look, different cultural beliefs at time of death. Okay. So they have a look at the most common ones. So there's the Christian beliefs and what they do, Catholic beliefs and what they do, Jewish, Hindu, and if you have a look, it says their beliefs. So in Hindu, they believe in reincarnation. When a person dies, their soul merely moves from one body to the next on its path to reach nirvana, which is heaven. So while it is a sad time when someone dies, they believe it's a time of celebration. Okay. In their funeral, the deceased will be bathed and dressed in white traditional Indian clothing. If a woman dies before her husband, she will be dressed in red. The procession might pass by places that were important to the deceased. Prayers are said at the entrance of the crematorium. The body is decorated with sandalwood and flowers. Someone will read from the scriptures. The head mourner is usually a male or the eldest son, and he will pray for the body's soul. Okay. And then it says what they do at the burial. Hindus are cremated as they believe burning the body releases the spirit, and the flames represent Brahma, the creator. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Okay, and then it says what they do after, and there's quite a few different ones here. Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints, Seventh Day Adventist, Sikh, Buddhist, Scientologist, Maori, that's always really interesting, Jehovah Witnesses. Okay, so have a look at the one that you are familiar with, and then compare it to one that you're not so familiar with. Okay, and there's a little drop box for this that you can put up. You just write down the one that you've picked and your own one, and just write a few little comparisons in there and put it into the drop box. Okay, cultural competence. It's about developing awareness of one's own culture and values. So once you've got a really good awareness of your own culture and your own values, then you will be able to better understand other people's culture and values as well, reflecting on what and who has contributed to your values. So, who has helped you um, make your values, or helped you to be the person that you are today, and what has contributed to that as well? Being aware and seeking cultural knowledge of the dying patient and family. So just asking little questions of the person and their family, and you should be able to get a better understanding of the cultural values of that person and what they want and what they don't want. A lifelong commitment to honouring and respecting others. In the healthcare profession, that's what we have. Okay, it's about honouring and respecting others. And if you weren't doing this course, or you are doing this course because that's the type of person that you are, okay, it's about honour and respect. And it's about honouring and respecting their culture, their values, their beliefs. And when you have a really good understanding of your own, you can have a better understanding of theirs. Right. Here's another little video for you to watch. It is also um, up on um, the up on Moodle. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to watch that and just reflect on it. Okay. Cultural competence, competence of care. These two videos are up on YouTube as well, and one's 7 minutes 22 long and the other one is 11 minutes long. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to just watch them, and just reflect on it, and just think about the important cultural components of palliative care and end of life care raised in both video clips. Okay, so just have a little think about it. Now, what I'm going to do now is I am going to go into Moodle and I will show you what you need to do. Sorry, my father just walked past my door. So we will go into Moodle and I'll show you the Moodle page so that you have a better understanding. Okay, takes a minute or two for my Moodle page to load. So as you can see, you just go into the normal palliative care. So it's different for each group. This is the Windermere Moodle page. So they were meant to do palliative care in week 7. So that's where it's sitting. So if you go in there, it says week 8 online. Okay, there is the PowerPoint presentation there for you. There's also the videos that I have just made for you, and after each video there is the drop boxes. So after palliative care 1, there is the drop box for the short role play that you need to write. After palliative care 2, there is the poster drop box that you're meant to put in. Don't forget that the drop box, that poster has 2 components to it. There's the scenario for Mrs. S that is in palliative care 3, okay, and in palliative care 2. Okay, and then there's the drop box for the facing challenges um, exercise that we're going to get you to do. And then there's the engaging culture YouTube clip, maintaining hope and advanced illness clip, and the memory tree web page for you. And there's the Dropbox for your customs and religious protocols. All right, just the little reflection bit. And there is the Tom's story and Amy's story, okay, around culture in the dying phase. So just have a watch of those. There's a copy of Te Ara Whakapiri and the advanced care plan for you. All right, and I'll also put up the web page for advanced care planning for you. And in there as well will be the Palliative Care 4 YouTube clip. And as I'm still making it, I can't put it up. Okay, so have fun with it, do what you can, and I hope that